Okay, so this is part of your study sheet. So we'll answer part of it together, and then the rest of it you need to answer on your own tonight as part of your homework to study for your quiz tomorrow. So get your study sheet, make sure you got your name written down, and let's fill out the chart. So, geometry, study sheet, angle relationships, complementary angles. The complementary angles look like a right angle that's been split up because complementary angles add up to 90. So if this is angle BA and this is angle B, then angle A plus angle B equals 90 degrees. So the definition is they add up to 90. So those are complementary angles. Complementary angles look like this. They look like a right angle that's been split because complementary angles add up to 90 degrees, which is a right angle. So make sure you've got that written down. Pause the video if you need to. Supplementary angles look like this. Now remember, supplementary angles are the ones that add up to 180. So you've got your straight line. Sometimes you'll see that little sunrise looking thing. Sometimes you won't. Either way, so this will be angle A over here and angle B over here. So angle A plus angle B add up to 180 degrees. So whenever you've got a straight line and it's split up into angles, you know that a straight line is always 180. So it doesn't really matter how many they're split up into, but they will always add up to that straight line of 180. So supplementary angles, that's what they're called, and they add up to 180. So that's your complementary angles, that's your supplementary angles. They add up to 180, complementary add up to 90. 90-degree angles look like a right angle. Supplementary angles look like a straight line. So the next one we have are opposite angles. Opposite angles are directly across from each other. So, example, this can be angle A, this can be angle B. Angle A is equal to angle B. They measure the same. So they don't add up to anything at all. Opposite angles are the same angle. They're the same measurement. They measure the same. And then we've got co-interior angles. Co-interior angles are the angles that are created with parallel lines. So we already learned about parallel lines. Parallel lines are the ones that go forever and never touch each other. They always have the same space in between them. And a co-interior angle is the angle in between the parallel lines. So we've got two pairs of co-interiors here. Doesn't really matter which one we use. So we'll say this is angle A, this is angle B. They're inside the parallel lines and they add up to 180, sorry. So angle A plus angle B equals 180. So this is another, just like supplementary angles, that add up to 180. Okay, so that's the chart. On your quiz tomorrow, there will be another chart like this and you'll have to fill in the blanks. So part of it will be filled out, but part of it will be blank and you'll need to fill in those blanks. All right, so the next part of your study sheet finding the complementary angle. As you remember, complementary angles add up to 90. So if I know that one of my complementary angles is 62, I can take that away from 90 to find out what the missing angle is. So I take my 90 and I minus 62 to find the complementary angle. Don't forget to borrow. It's so important. If you don't borrow, you will not get the right answer. You'll almost always have to borrow because unless that bottom number is a 0, you're gonna have to borrow. It is not a 0, it's a 2, so you are gonna have to borrow. Borrow 1 from the 9, which changes it to an 8. The one that you borrowed changes the 0 to a 10. So now I've got 10 minus 2, which is 8, and 8 minus 6, which is 2. So the complementary angle to 62 is 28. Don't forget your little degrees. All right, I'm gonna get you to do this one at home. So we're gonna skip this one, we'll correct it tomorrow. Don't forget to bring your homework back tomorrow. So we're gonna skip on down to question number 3, where we're trying to find the supplementary angle. So the supplementary angle, that's the one that adds up to 180 degrees. So if I have 156 and I need to find the supplementary angle, I need to take 156 away from 180, and then I'll have my missing angle. So 180 on the top, 156 on the bottom, minus, do I need to borrow again? Yes, because you can't take 6 away from 0. So you borrow from the 8, it turns to 7, and the 0 changes to 10. 10 minus 6 is 4, 7 minus 5 is 2, 1 minus 1 is nothing. So the supplementary angle is 24 degrees. What that just means is 24 plus 156 is going to get you 180 because they're supplementary angles. All right, so you're going to do that next one by yourself. You're going to do that 3B for homework. And now we've got these guys, find the missing angles. So these are all diagrams where you need to use calculations instead of a protractor to figure out what the missing angles are. So we'll do a couple, and then tomorrow we'll correct the rest of them. So let's do A. A is a right angle, and I know that a right angle always adds up to 90 degrees. So if I take 51 away from 90, I'll have my missing angle. Do I need to borrow? Yes, I need to borrow. I cannot take 1 away from 0. So I borrow from the 9, it changes to 8. The 0 changes to 10. 10 minus 1 is 9, 8 minus 5 is 3. So my missing angle is 39 degrees. You're gonna do B by yourself. And you're gonna do C. Actually, we'll do C and then you'll do D by yourself. So C, you need to do 2 calculations for these kind, because look, here's my straight line. Here's my 180. But I have 2 angles that I know. I need to add those 2 together first before I minus from 180 to find the missing one. So 2 calculations here. First, I take my 95 and I add it with my 26. So I figure out how much is this angle altogether. So 5 plus 6 is 11, carrier 1. 9 plus 2 is also 11, plus the one that I carried is 12. So that means that these 2 angles together make 121. So this whole angle here is 121 degrees. So if I take that 121 away from 180, I'll get my missing angle. So 180 on the top, 121 on the bottom, minus. Can I take 1 away from 0? No. So I need to borrow. 8 turns to 7, 0 turns to 10. 10 minus 1 is 9. 7 minus 2 is 5. 1 minus 1 is 0. So I know that my missing angle is 59 degrees. It's really important that I did both of those calculations, because if I had just taken, say, one of them away from 180, I would not have got the right answer. So first you have to find out what this total degrees is before you can take away from 180 to find the missing one. All right, D works the same way, except you're taking away from 90. You're still going to have to add the ones that you know, and then take away from 90 to find the missing angle. So and that's for homework. So let's look at the last ones here. All right. So I think what we'll do, we'll do the big one. So this one you'll have for homework. You're gonna have to do E by yourself. And then F we'll do together. F has a lot of missing angles, but that's okay. If I use all of the information that I know, I'm gonna be able to figure it out. So, first of all, let's work in this corner down here. Also, first of all, let's do all of our opposite angles. That's the easiest way to do it first. If you have any opposite angles in your diagram, automatically write them in. You don't have to do a calculation, you just have to figure out which ones are across from each other. So 61 is directly across, it's opposite to F. So I know that F is 61. There's one down already. 83 is directly opposite to A. So I know A is 83. There's another one done already. 72 is directly opposite to D. So I know that D is 72 degrees. That's what's so great about opposite angles. You don't have to do anything. You just have to write it down, as long as you can identify which angles are opposite. Remember that opposite angles are the ones that are directly across from each other. So the 61 is directly across from F. The 72 is directly across from D, and the 83 is directly across from A. So I've already got all of those figured out. Now I just need to figure out the ones that I have to do calculations with. So let's start down here. I know that this is 90 degrees. I know it's a right angle. So if I take 61 away from 90, I'll have my missing angle. So these kinds of diagrams are where you use all the things that you know, everything from that chart. Supplementary angles, complementary angles, opposite angles, and co-interior angles to solve this problem. So, you're gonna have to borrow. 10 minus 1 is 9, 8 minus 6 is 2, so I know that angle G is 29 degrees. All right, I'm done that part, let's do I. I know that this is 180 degrees, it's a straight line. So if I take 61 away from 180, I'll get angle I. Gonna have to borrow again. 10 minus 1 is 9, 7 minus 6 is 1, 1 minus nothing is 1. So angle I is 119 degrees. So I've solved that one. I've solved all of the ones over here. Now I'm going to move up here, or I can actually, I'm going to start over here. So angle B and angle C. Now remember, co-interior angles add up to 180. I've got parallel lines, and remember the angles inside the lines are the ones that are going to add up to 180. So A and B are co-interior angles. They're going to add up to 180. So if I take 83 away from 180, I'm going to get angle B. So I'm going to have to borrow. 10 minus 3 is 7. 7 minus 8, I can't do that. I'm going to have to borrow again. 17 minus 8 is 9. So I've got 97 degrees over here. And if you look, angle B and angle C are directly opposite from each other. So 97 degrees over there too. Now all I've got to do is the top part. So knowing that a straight line is 180, if I add 83 and 72 together and then take away from 180, I'll get angle J, because here's my straight line. So I need to know what these two ones are together, all those degrees, minus from 180 will get me J. So that means I have to do two calculations. 72 plus 83. So 2 plus 3 is 5, 7 plus 8 is 15. So together, 72 and 83 are 155 degrees. If I take that away from 180, I'll get my missing angle. So I have to borrow again. That changes to 7, that changes to 10. 10 minus 5 is 5. 7 minus 5 is 2. 1 minus 1 is nothing. So now I know that angle J is 25 degrees. And if you look, angle J is directly opposite to angle E. So I know that that one is 25 degrees as well. And I have now solved all the missing angles by using complementary angles, supplementary angles, opposite angles, and co-interior angles. I used all 4 different kinds of angle relationships from my chart to be able to solve this one. So you're going to take that home, fold it up, put it in your pocket, take it home. Remember, if you bring it back, we're going to correct the rest of it as a way to kind of do a quick review before your quiz. If you bring it back, you get extra marks. So please do bring it back. So for the rest of math class today, you need to be working on page 32, A and B, page 33, 34, and 38, 11 to 20. These are all diagrams where you're going to use those angle relationships to find missing angles. Ask for help if you need it.